Hi, and welcome to K Nun Productions, giving you the straight dope on dogs.
I see it over and over constantly, from destroyed items and projects to general misery caused by having a dog near. Too many dead chickens and ducks to count. Sometimes their own dogs maul them, heirlooms destroyed or chewed at and drooled on. I see it in crochet and knitting forums. The labor of many hours, sometimes months, destroyed in a few minutes, becoming a few shredded scraps of yarn which these people pitifully share with everyone. Nobody ever gives these people any meaningful advice. They just share stories of their own dog-induced misery to rejoice in. Hey, I know a way to make sure those things never happen again, but you're not going to like it. Get rid of the dog.
Hello again. Tonight's video will focus on a particularly baffling aspect of dog nuttery. You've likely noticed that many dog owners don't mind when those unstable abominations they call pets wreck their personal belongings or completely trash their entire house. And not only do they not mind, they even seem to think it is cute and endearing. I wish I were joking. But no, there's a significant percentage of people, if they can be called that, who legit allow their dogs to destroy their homes, or even just ruin them by making them funky and disgusting. In the case of the latter, all it takes is for someone to allow one of these beasts to reside there. The indoor dog, which, historically speaking, is only a relatively recent phenomenon, is a guarantee that at least some segment of the population will be living in squalor and filth. A surprising amount of dog nutters even permit these nasty animals to be on furniture, and we will go over all of that. But before that, there are a couple of things I'd like to address. First item, dog nutters. You really need to stop bringing up guide dogs, also sometimes called seeing eye dogs, like the kind a few people with significant visual impairment might use. When I say a few, I mean just that, because for starters, hardly anyone uses dogs for this purpose, and it is very unfortunate that any percentage of people with disabilities are being convinced that a dog could help them. This image is from a Netflix show called In the Dark. The premise centers on Murphy Mason, a blind woman whose life spirals into chaos following the murder of her friend Tyson. I've read the synopsis for this show in IMDb and elsewhere, and nowhere does it mention the fact that she has a guide dog, because the dog is kind of just there. It's not important to the storyline, and this show would be just as good without the dog, if not better. The reason I mention this is because stuff like this is what may help popularize the idea of using a dog in this context, or even legitimize it in the minds of people who just aren't thinking very deeply about the pro-dog agenda. But the point is this: there are two main problems with people bringing up service dogs or working dogs, and I have addressed this several times in the past, yet I continue to see people parrot this shit. For one thing, the vast majority of dogs in existence are not even remotely helping anyone in any capacity. These aren't herding dogs on farms or seeing eye dogs or cadaver-sniffing dogs. If we were to only allow the very few dogs that could potentially be useful, the amount of dogs in circulation would be a tiny fraction of what it is now. All strays in streets across the world would be gone. No one would be allowed to simply own a dog as a pet. Secondly, disabled people, in general, do not need dogs. These seeing eye dogs in particular are one of the few examples that people feel they can really lean on, since it appears to be the case that these dogs are especially helpful. But there are several things to keep in mind. For starters, there are now many technological alternatives. And remember, only about 4 or 5% of visually impaired or legally blind people use dogs. Most do not, and can obviously get on without them. One prominent alternative is the use of smartphone applications equipped with GPS technology and augmented reality features. Applications such as Era or Be My Eyes leverage real-time video assistance, connecting users with trained agents who can describe their surroundings or provide navigational support. By employing these applications, visually impaired individuals gain access to immediate assistance, allowing them to make informed decisions about their routes and surroundings without having to rely on a guide dog. There's also this, a smart walking stick, also known as a GPS cane. Additionally, wearable technologies such as smart glasses represent another innovative solution. Several devices utilize artificial intelligence to recognize faces, read text aloud, and identify products through audio feedback. This hands-free approach empowers users by providing them with critical information about their environment while promoting autonomy in daily activities. Ultrasonic devices like the Sunu band offer haptic feedback through gentle vibrations when obstacles are detected within close proximity. This technology allows users to maintain awareness of their surroundings without needing constant visual input. These technological advancements present promising alternatives to traditional seeing-eye dogs, enhancing the quality of life for visually impaired individuals while promoting independence and confidence in navigating diverse environments. Research into autonomous navigation systems is paving the way for innovative solutions that could redefine mobility assistance. Robots designed to navigate urban environments autonomously could serve as mobile guides for visually impaired individuals, offering an alternative means of transportation while ensuring safety and efficiency. Regarding the hands-free device mentioned earlier, a year ago, Chef Mutt Meat actually made a great post about this in her community section.
A guide dog can cost up to $40,000. These glasses cost a fraction of that at $5,000. But it also ends up paying for itself compared to a guide dog, because you don't need to vaccinate the glasses against rabies, take it outside to dump battery acid on the ground, feed it, groom it, deworm it, or take it to the vet. It's germ-free and superior. These should replace all guide dogs, because dogs can't speak detailed information to you like technology can. A dog can't tell you what time it is, read a book for you, read street signs, or navigate to a destination using GPS technology. I've seen several blind people in the grocery store, and none of them had guide mutts.
So, I really don't want to hear it anymore. Next item. Something else I don't want to hear anymore is you dog nutters telling us, quite dismissively, to get earplugs in response to complaints about how awful barking is. The long and the short of it is this. Earplugs are not a solution to this problem. The barking itself needs to cease, but this is fucked up on so many levels. I will now list the reasons. First, earplugs don't make a piercing sound like dog barking inaudible. You can't expect people to wear earplugs 24/7 because of your selfish decision to own a fucking dog. Dogs bark at all times, and sometimes it really does go on for hours. Other than perhaps when people are sound asleep, it is actually very inconvenient to have to wear earplugs, and makes many activities impossible. What about people who are working or trying to enjoy music or watch television? Basically, your stupid dog's desire to sound off is not more important than our peace. Second, no one should have to purchase something or modify their habits because of a neighbor's thoughtless decision, like getting something which makes a completely needless and abrasive sound. If you're the asshole causing a disturbance, you're the one who needs to modify what you're doing, e.g., get rid of the useless bark bag. Or the dog needs to shut its fucking trap because the barking is the problem, not others' reaction to it. Finally, dog barking can carry for quite a distance in rural environments, and in the city, it can echo from the buildings. You can't expect that every person affected by the barking is going to go out and get earplugs, which again, is not even a solution to this problem. Barking, particularly from domestic dogs, is a significant issue that extends beyond mere annoyance. It disrupts the peace within communities and can lead to various negative psychological effects on individuals. The persistent nature of barking creates an environment of stress and anxiety, detracting from the quality of life for those affected. In residential areas where tranquility is expected, incessant barking can lead to heightened tension among neighbors, fostering an atmosphere of discord rather than camaraderie. The psychological implications of constant barking are profound. Research indicates that prolonged exposure to noise pollution, including dog barking, can elevate cortisol levels in humans, leading to increased stress and anxiety disorders. Individuals may experience sleep disturbances as a result of nighttime barking episodes, further compounding issues related to mental health. The inability to achieve restful sleep can impair cognitive functions and emotional regulation, resulting in diminished overall well-being. Moreover, the social dynamics within communities can be adversely affected by chronic barking issues. Residents may become increasingly frustrated with one another as they grapple with the disturbances caused by their neighbors' pets. This frustration often leads to conflicts that could have been avoided if dogs were no part of the equation. A standard response from clueless people online, most of whom are dog apologists as well as authorities, is to suggest communication about pet management. Basically, they'll tell you to talk to the owners. But what no one seems to understand is that these people simply don't give a damn. If they did, they wouldn't have a dog in the first place. They would get a pet that's actually quiet, or whose sounds are only a problem for them, the owners, or they would simply live their lives without a pet. But, just to be clear, the only pet that's a problem in this department, and many others, is the dog. Now let's go back to this. The tendency of the dog nutter to allow dogs to literally destroy their possessions, and really, their lives. If this is the sort of thing they will tolerate from dogs themselves, it's no wonder they expect others to simply put up with it. Well, not this, because we would never allow one of these vulgar destroyers of all that is decent into our lives, let alone our houses or near our furniture. I mean that they expect us to put up with the barking and the dog shit their dogs are depositing everywhere, the unprovoked mutant aggression from their dogs, and all the rest of it. And it is very tricky to deal with someone who, for whatever bizarre reason, cannot even perceive a very specific and obvious problem's existence, especially when they are the cause of it. And I am speaking generally here. Many dog owners know for a fact that they're impositional assholes, and they simply don't care. Others may be oblivious to some extent, but what we can say for certain is that they have incredibly low standards for themselves. Of course, it doesn't help, and it doesn't bode well that when we notify them of just what a problem their lifestyle choice is for the rest of us, they resort to bullshit like, "Get earplugs, stupid," or gaslighting, and about 1,001 idiotic distractions from the real problem. And that's what it does come down to, a lifestyle and consumer choice. They want to have the ability to choose this, no matter the external cost to others or to society as a whole. They don't care, and so they cannot learn.
My family has 3 dogs, and I feel like there's no clean place to sit because there's always dog hair and piss stains on the furniture, or a dog occupying the seat that's licking their genitals. I don't even think dogs should be in the house, unless there's extreme weather, let alone on the furniture. It's just gross and unhygienic, and I always feel filthy sitting on any furniture in my house except for my desk chair and my bed. I don't let the dogs in my room so they don't shit and piss on my furniture too.
As we know, dogs don't belong anywhere, but they especially don't belong inside a person's home, and they definitely don't belong on furniture. Yet, in the dog world, there are debates about whether this should be permissible or not. The more recent school of thought is that not allowing dogs indoors or on furniture is tantamount to abuse or neglect, which is beyond preposterous. But here is the reality. This shit is incredibly nasty, and also makes the dog feel like it can just do whatever the hell it wants at any given time. Dogs often carry dirt, allergens, and parasites from the outdoors into the home. Their fur can trap dust mites and dander. Upholstered furniture is particularly susceptible to absorbing these contaminants, which not only diminishes its lifespan, but also creates an unhealthy living space for inhabitants. Prime example. I have relatives whose houses I completely avoid, because every time I go in there, there's a god-awful dog smell. Even if they've put it away, that nauseating stench is enough to keep me away. I mention this because if you allow a dog on a couch, love seat, or, heaven forbid, a bed, that item will absolutely reek of dog. It will stink to high hell. It will be totaled and completely ruined. It can't even be sold in good conscience because it will then foul up the new place it's transported to. If you've ever been to someone's house who has multiple dogs or allows them on the furniture, especially if they're larger dogs, then you know about that pungent, uninviting dog stench that you can practically smell from a mile away. Additionally, permitting dogs access to furniture may inadvertently reinforce undesirable behaviors such as jumping up or begging for attention. These behaviors can become ingrained over time, which just makes for an extra shitty dog. I have made videos in the past about how dog nutters have no boundaries at all, and stuff like this is a prime example.
If you want to support this content and see more of it, like and subscribe. If you hate this content and want to fight for weird predator parasites,
get the fuck out of here!
Dogs don't belong on ferries or anywhere near our dairy, nor in the supermarket. Clearly, they're even out of place in prairies. Only place they should be is the pet cemetery. Dogs belong nowhere, so don't you ever go there. With a dog in tow here, you stand out like long-nosed hares. Dogs belong nowhere. Wherever we find them, dogs are uninvited. Dog nutter, don't you go there. Dogs should never be on sidewalks. Get them out of nice parks, as well as beaches and inside malls. They're out of place beside cars. The only place they might belong is in the boneyard. Dogs belong nowhere, so don't you ever go there. With a dog in tow here, you stand out like long-nosed hares. Dogs belong nowhere. Wherever we find them, dogs are uninvited. Dog nutter, don't you go there. Dogs belong nowhere, don't ever go there. Dogs belong nowhere, nutter, don't you go there. Dogs should never be in hallways or in an apartment, in any space. We shouldn't have to hear them barking all day. Dogs are out of place in human space as always. Only place they might belong, hey, is in a grave or out of sight like a crawl space. Let's go! Dogs belong nowhere, so don't you ever go there. With a dog in tow here, you stand out like long-nosed hares. Dogs belong nowhere. Wherever we find them, dogs are uninvited. Dog nutter, don't you go there. Sing it with me! Dogs belong nowhere, so don't you ever go there. With the dog in tow here, you stand out like long-nosed hares. Dogs belong nowhere. Wherever we find them, dogs are uninvited. Dog nutter, don't you go there.